Welcome to DeckerTech. I'm Aaron Decker, and today is a 3-minute deck tech. Today's deck is To the Grave and Back Again, a Mutated Tale by Syr Konrad Baggins. This deck, the build-around card is Syr Konrad. He's all about creatures so whenever a creature enters either graveyard, he deals a damage to our opponent. Whenever a creature leaves our graveyard, he deals a damage to our opponent. So that's what we're abusing, is creatures entering and exiting our graveyard. So Ikoria brought us a really cool build-around card with that. Nethroi Apex of Death. Whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less. So we can get upwards to 10 creatures from our graveyard, or 12, depending on if we abuse the low power creatures. So we can kind of combo kill our opponent by mutating, bringing out a bunch of creatures, having Syr Konrad trigger, and then killing off those creatures, sending them back to the graveyard, triggering again. So we just kind of flood our board and then flood our graveyard to kind of combo kill our opponent. So we want a pretty hefty graveyard, and so in this deck we prioritize things that fill the graveyard, leave the graveyard, and creatures, because we need them to be creatures that are coming and going. So things that fill the graveyard: Mire Triton, good early blocker, fills the graveyard, gains a little life. Cavalier of Thorns, probably the best card in the deck other than our key cards. It fills the graveyard, it ramps us, when it dies it also exiles creatures from the graveyard, which triggers Syr Konrad again, so when he dies we get 3 triggers and a card back on top. So he's really good there. And then Tamiyo, even though she's not a creature, fills the graveyard really fast, and since we have so much in the graveyard, she can bring back key cards to us to use, so we can return a Nethroi from the graveyard if we milled it, so that we can cast it. Because we're kind of a combo deck, we want Syr Konrad in play, we want Nethroi to cast, and we actually want Woe Strider in play most of the time too. So the Tamiyo allows us to get those key cards. Woe Strider allows us to sacrifice all our creatures, triggering Syr Konrad, and also putting them in the graveyard in case we're going to cast a Nethroi. So if we're going to cast a Nethroi, we sacrifice everything to the Woe Strider first, and then bring it all back. Polukranos, a 0-power creature that does things. He also has Escape. Escape is really good in this deck because we can exile creatures as part of the cost for casting it, triggering Syr Konrad more. So these are our ways to fill the graveyard, ways to empty the graveyard, and or put things back into the graveyard. As you can see, we have a lot of high cost spells. Cavalier of Thorns at 5, Kondrad at 5, Nethroi at 7. So we're going to need a lot of mana. We're doing that in the form of creatures again, because that's part of the goal of the deck, and we're doing low power creatures. So the Caryatid here can tap for 2 most of the time, and the Incubation Druid has 0 power. So these are the mana dorks of choice. I could see maybe switching out the Caryatid for the other Druid of 0 power, but at the same time, 1 power we can normally fit in, and tapping for 2 is great. Then we, of course, has a great little removal suite here. The Murderous Rider being a creature as a high priority. And then 2 other good cards here. Titan's Nest, we can exile our graveyard en masse. If we have Syr Konrad out, we just exile all the creatures from our graveyard just for no reason, just to deal damage. It's also a great card that fills the graveyard, makes our spells cheaper, stuff like that. And the Mythos of Brokkos, just kind of an all-around, let me go tutor for the card I need, put it in the graveyard, put it to my hand, and then I'm ready for next turn. Anyway, if you'd like to see this deck in action, go ahead and check all those videos out, and we will catch you next time. Peace.